Hey, as usual, when I do these videos, I'm on my way back from Taliban, and I'm watching a lot of indestructible students who are walking in the road and don't think that they should get to the side. So, well, didn't my video about Jasper and our visit to the birthday party, didn't that raise a few comments? Some people thought that I should explain what the video was about, and even maintained that when I said, well, the video is actually self-explanatory. It explains itself. It's a story in pictures, and that particular story was about a birthday party, and everybody was there. Now, some people thought that we had assembled all of the eligible, regardless of age, young ladies there, so that they could be chosen or make their pitch, all based on money, of course, to our friend and visitor Jasper, who apparently should be called Jesper because he's Danish. But it just makes me think about money. In spite of what anybody may think, although money plays a part in the choice that a woman makes, it's not everything. If a woman stays with a man because of money, the relationship must have been pretty crappy. When I met Beth, was I viewed, bearing in mind that I thought that she was too young and she thought that I was too old, bearing that in mind, did money play a part in it? I suppose that it must have played a part. But then when I was in Florida and I was looking for a date, well, very difficult to find a date in Florida, because if you haven't got money, there's no honey. Isn't that the phrase that's always flung up at us old guys who come to the Philippines and marry or hook up with, live with, use, abuse a younger Filipina? Yes, it is. That's the phrase. No money, no honey. So all of these women, unlike every other woman in the world, Filipinas are only after money. Let me tell you something. If it was all about money for Beth, she would have me walking down the road with the shirt on my back, because I don't own anything. Everything is in Beth's name. If she was just about money, if I was some old guy that is just hanging on and paying all the bills, or not paying the bills, if that was the case, we wouldn't have a relationship. Now, did it always go down? Well, these lessons, look, these lessons, my experiences are pretty well what other expats, what other foreigners, regardless of nationality, all seem to go through. And so they're not special to me. If you're listening to this and saying, oh, well, that was you, wasn't it? No, it's not special for me and Beth. Maybe we're not typical in that we have a happy marriage, which is around 8 years now, being that I am terrible at debts and at dates, I should say, and in fact, about the only date that I ever remember is my birthday, which I approach with some dread, and which will be next month. Now, that places Beth and I 50 years apart. So I can't even say I wish I'd met you when you were this age, because that date would have meant that she was yet to be conceived. So why would it be special for us? The only thing that I can think of is that because we have a mission which unites us, which bonds us, but it doesn't just bond us, it bonds us with the people that we help. Now, when I say that we help, we're not the heroes. I've always said this. I choose the word hero, the description hero, because it's something that people are accustomed to. We're not the ones particularly to be admired. We are the catalyst. So, catalyst, we're the glue that brings people together in order to help others who are in dire straits. So how does that affect Beth and I? It affects Beth and I on a monetary basis, but we are struggling together. I was never rich. I've never been rich. And although people to whom riches are everything, they will not believe what I'm saying. Those people who have worked all their lives have amassed an amount of money which now enables them to be comfortable, is to not be scared of the future, to not be scared of getting sick, to have medical insurance, to have all of these things, which I gather is so important. And I gather that from the letters that I get, the messages. Now you don't call them letters, do you, anymore? That was my day, that was my mother's day. Have you written that letter? No, that's not that anymore. Now it's instantaneous, isn't it? You send someone a message, even private message, according to Facebook and on Facebook Messenger. You send someone a message. So the messages that I get, letters to me, show that people are concerned. When people, subscribers write to me and say, what do you think about moving to the Philippines? Is it safe? It's all about, is it safe? Will this amount of money be enough? Is there a hospital near to you? I'm moving to Dumaguete because they have better medical facilities. I'm moving to Manila because they have good or better facilities. Because, as you know, when we've been to the local hospital, it's pretty much a first aid station. It doesn't seem to be a whole lot more than that. So, first of all, none of those things interest me. We have, let's say that as far as Beth goes, I know that people will be saying, but what about Matt? You're going to leave her in poverty? Because Beth does not live in poverty. We do not live in poverty. We do not live the lifestyle of the rich and famous. We have a swimming pool which is empty, apart from some dirty water that has come in with the rain, and we're not bothered by that. We still don't have a house yet. We're building now to try to have a house. Maybe by the end of the year, it might be next year. We'll do what we can with what we have. Meantime, our mission is what unites us. Is that special to us? Well, it's special in that we have a particular mission, working with people who, for the most part, have nothing. We were once accused and taken to court on a subpoena saying that we had charged people way too much for the houses that we built. which is a slight exaggeration because we don't charge anything for the houses that we build. Once again, our heroes enable us to be, we are the catalyst so that we can help people. By virtue of the fact we are empowered by others who are prepared to part with the money that they have earned in order to let us do what we do. So money. It comes down to talk about money no matter what, because people are most concerned about money. Is this amount of money going to be enough for me to live on? What insurance do you have in the Philippines? The insurance that we have in the Philippines, I laughingly call the insurance company that we are medically insured with is called On a Wing and a Prayer. Yes, it's not very funny, is it? But it's the way that it is. We don't have medical insurance. We have Phil Health. It's called Phil, as in PHIL, Phil Health, and that's the government-run thing. It's a bare bones thing, and certainly at my age, it wouldn't make a whole lot of difference for me. When we were fighting snakes, that's what everybody thinks. We found a snake, which was terrified and tried to escape. So people took from that, as they do with so many of our videos, they took from that was every day. Oh my God, you get up in the morning and you fight a cobra for breakfast, and then there's another 2 or 3 in the afternoon. That's what people tend to think, that, which of course it's just not true. But someone said to me, you know what's going to happen if you get bitten by a cobra where you live, with the medical facilities that you have? You're going to die, Terence. And that probably would be true. What shall I do about that? Shall I live in terror of being bitten by a cobra? I'm trying my hardest and I'm not succeeding. Nothing is trying to bite me right now. I'm driving in my truck and I'm completely safe. It's very quiet. It's cool because I have AC and I'm able to make a video. This is the place that I listen to my music, because it's not the same as the music that Beth might enjoy. So there's another thing which unites us, is the difference between the way that we think about being entertained. But I don't live on top of Beth. I don't demand that everything we do is holding hands together walking down the road. No, it's not like that. There's space between us. We can do. I'm out on my own today. I decided that I would like to go and get a haircut. The barber wasn't in Thursday. I should have remembered that. And now I'm on my way back home. We had to have a visit to the bank. Money again, right? So I don't concern myself with money. I don't second guess Beth. She is the one that handles it. I oversee, but not in a micromanaging way. I oversee what we're doing. We talk about that. We what can I say, that my checkup, my reality check with Beth is, are we doing okay? No, we don't take money from one thing and put it to another, and then take money from that one and put it to, no, we don't do that. If someone asks us to do something, then that's what we do, even though we may not approve of that personally. Once one of our this is how other people handle money. Not always well. we've given houses and a sari store to someone to help them in their family to have some income, and we've just done that at house 93. And that girl, who is now, let me see, I think she's either 18, she's 18 going on 19. She is a hero, because the father died some years ago and the mother died about 2 years ago, probably a little more, and that left her with the duties of a mother and a father. And so she had to safeguard the income of money so that they had enough to put food on the table. They lived in an extremely modest house that got blown down by the typhoon. So that's when we were introduced to her. Now, we built her a nice house, courtesy of our heroes, our angels as we call them. Now, I have to report that she is doing great. We're not sure, I haven't actually been around there to check up yet on how the sari store goes, but I had a chat with her and I made it clear with her agreement. I said, look, when the money comes in from the sari store, if you get 100 pesos, the 100 pesos is not money. That is meant to go back into the business. There will be a point at which she will be able to take a little of what comes in. She'll be able to, if she sells 100 cans of sardines and she makes 30 pesos in profit, then perhaps she will take half of that as income, and the other will be to buy a couple more cans of sardines so she can make a little more profit. And she understood that. She's a bright girl. She's obviously very capable and practical, because she was able to be mother and father to her 3 brothers. Not an easy thing. So she is now doing well. For those who have asked how that family is getting on, they get a certain amount of money from the government, and we have now got her on our education support program, so she gets money from us. So it's about money. Now, what is it about money that gets everybody upset? Well, because they don't think that you can have, I'm talking now in terms of some of the comments that we had, where everybody, mostly women, now this is the thing, it's mostly women that said it's about money. Now, they viewed a video which I thought was clearly meant as fun. When our visitor was asked about his personal situation, he made it quite clear, and it was understood that he was single, not looking, only with a couple of days before he left to go home, a few days, I think he's going home in 5 days, or was at that time. So he made it quite clear he's not even eligible, but he entered into the spirit of things when all of the Filipinas, having Filipina fun, said, oh, well, can you hold hands? Can we take a selfie with you holding hands? Fine. And he entered into the spirit of things in good humor. And then because people are so fixed on the fact that all of those girls, all of them, were so passionately affected by this one foreigner that has suddenly turned up as an unexpected guest, and they want to enter into the teasing. Now, if you haven't been to the Philippines, you won't know about Filipino teasing. They are relentless, merciless teasers. They tease each other to tears. Believe me. I've been crying myself. Just a joke. Yeah, oh, for God's sake, don't take that seriously. So, that was a fun situation, and everybody is convinced that anybody who marries an older person must be after the money. So, get it back to the fact that here's a sense, you can look at this with a sense of irony. The people who are complaining about this and making these accusations are apparently subscribers. Now, there's so much space there. Somebody is inviting me to go through a narrow space when there's a huge space next to me. So I've waited for him and he's gone. So they are subscribers on a channel which is based on the marriage and simple life of a man who is 50 years older than his wife. And they're making this the basis of the fact that it won't work. Well, yes, it won't work and hasn't been working for 8 years. And even though we have our differences and our issues and our quarrels, we are together and we are committed to each other. We don't go outside the marriage is the point that's being made. And if it was about money, as I said, Beth could make an easy escape right now by us splitting. She would have everything. So, is it possible that she's staying for money? Not really, she's already got it. If money was what she wanted, then she's got it. She can leave and find this handsome young Filipino or handsome young any man instead of me. So, even though life is tied up inextricably with money, it's not everything. It's not everything to me. It's not everything to Beth. And it's not everything to all of those Filipinos. No one at that party, taking it for a moment that they were looking at our visitor as a serious possibility, no one asked him, "What do you do for a living?" Which would have given them an indication of how wealthy or not he was. I wasn't. My standing joke for the time that I was meeting Beth at first was that I would have to save up to be broke. And the reason that we have what we have to the degree that we have now is because we worked together. Nobody came along and said, "I want to make you rich." We worked 24/7, dividing our time between creating a channel for which this video is being made and helping people who are in dire straits, who are operating, living, existing, just about surviving far below the poverty level of other countries, compared to, say, the America, the US. The level of poverty there, even though it has its pockets of extreme poverty, would be far above what they have here. Here, if we'd built a house and said to the person we were going to give it to, there'll be a 500 pesos charge, in other words, this is going to cost you $10, they would have had to say, we haven't got it. So, people will view money in their own way, in their own, what can I say, in their own level of what is possible for them. For them, what we are, how we are living would be the ultimate in riches. It would be like just the fact that we are not worried about a roof over our head and what to eat, whether we're going to eat, even however simply, would be a great level of luxury for them. But we had some time ago a visitor, a subscriber, who came along with the lady that he had decided to be with for the rest of his life, a Filipina. And the Filipina was already living a good life. She I'm not going to tell you where she was from, because that would take away the anonymity. But she was already had a good life, and she didn't need a wealthy foreigner, or even a foreigner who would apparently be wealthy. And when she saw how Beth and I are situated, she stayed in our guest house with our friend, our subscriber, and she ate at the table in Nanai's house. I think they stayed one night, and she confided, shoot, another truck coming opposite. My neighbour. She said to Beth, I couldn't live like this. See, so it depends whether you're adjusting or judging upwards, or whether you're adjusting downwards. And she was adjusting downwards. Our level, our lifestyle was not possible for her. She wouldn't have been able to live that way. And then others who only wished that they could live our way. And we're somewhere in between. So I'm almost where I should be now. I'm on my way home. Some of the people that we've helped, one last thing, some of the people that we've helped, we had one family that were in a bad situation, and on the instructions of our donor, our hero, our angel, he was taken by the plight of this family who had I mentioned this to Beth today, and she said, I thought it was 7 children. She said it was 9 children. It was 9 children. We built them a house, and in building them a house, their life became revealed because it was unfolding on our videos. So a donor came up and said, I want them to be made into a self-sustaining family, and this is the way that I would want them to be accommodated. We built them a house, so they are situated finally on that way. I want them to have 2 carabao, 5 chickens, and Beth told me today, not 5 chickens, 5 goats and 20 chickens. And that should enable them to to have food to eat from the chickens. They would be laying eggs, so they'd be able to survive. Now, if I can describe it as he was judging from up, going down. So he was far above anything that we have and we're giving to this family. This is what I think would be the answer for them. So we did what was instructed, and we hoped for the best. The 2 carabao were presented to them, the five goats and the 20 chickens, and I think we even built a coop for the chickens, for the laying chickens. It didn't work out well because their grasp of money, they hadn't earned anything about it and they hadn't learned anything about it. While they were walking the carabao from A to B, one of the carabao was hit by a car and died. They ate the goats and the chickens over time, and finally they sold the remaining carabao from all of this. They sold, and they put it as a down payment on a motorcycle. So the lesson to be learned is that no matter, when it comes to money, no matter what you give in terms of money to people, and in that case in value of money, they will revert to what I call their chronic level. This is the level at which they are accustomed to being, and unless you can get them to learn something, they're going to pull it back to that's it. When we built Menzies' house, the houses next to Menzies, one of the houses was it was given to a family who were living there where we built Menzies' house, and they came to us and said, can you build us a house? Which we agreed. Their house, they quickly, whereas Menzies still looks very, very nice, but their house quickly became an eyesore, because that's what they were used to. And now I'm almost home, so thanks for being with me. Bye.